How's it going, everybody? Does this look familiar to you? Yes, it is basically Legend of Mushroom 2. It's not quite called that. It is actually Monmate Master, right? It's like altogether Monmate Master. It's a quite an interesting name. Nonetheless, it is basically just the Legend of Mushroom 2. It has all the systems you might expect if you've played Legend of Mushroom. It is pretty much carbon copy, and in fact, it is made by the same developers like Legend of Mushroom. Today, we're going to be checking out the class system and looking at potential builds as we approach this game, just getting started into it, so let's go. So in this game, which is just looking pretty much exactly like Legend of Mushroom, even though instead of going through a linear path when you're doing the stages in the campaign, you are going around killing monsters and eventually the boss spawns, but it kind of just plays in the same way, right? So checking out the class system in particular, I did choose a ranger and it pretty much plays just like in Legend of Mushroom. Now there is also the choice of two other classes which are identical to what you can expect from Legend of Mushroom if you've played that in the past. It is the warrior, the ranger, and the mage, the same three choices we've had in the past. You can also switch elements, which I still yet have to check out what they actually do. And the leveling path is pretty much just a clone of Legend of Mushroom. Let's look at this, and if you zoom all the way out, look at this leveling path, man. It is nuts. So we start as a rookie over here. It might be a little bit hard to see, but if we zoom out a little bit, or rather zoom in, we have the ranger choice, and then we have the warrior and the mage choices diverging. But then we're going to be getting to the point where it diverges even more, right? So we have, again, like in Legend of Mushroom, two choices of ascension per class, right? So if we go warrior, we can be either a Hydra's Blade, which can go from like level 1 all the way up to max level, or it's like level 9. We can be a Flame Demon. We will check out the abilities in a moment. If we go Archer, we can be a Punk Hunter or a Wood Nymph. And if we go Mage, we can be an Aquatic Angel and a Plague Leech. So let's real quick just go ahead and check out the skills of each one of these maxed out classes, because of course that is going to be the overall goal, right? Then, well, let's just start off with the warrior. We have over here the Hydra's Blade, which looks quite interesting with some tentacles going around and stuff like that. The weapon is specified as well, which is quite interesting. It's called the Frozen Abyss Blade. It's called, it does say that it has the front roll. It is supposed to be a tank, and then it's gonna be dispelling slows and dealing heavy damage. That is kind of like the description of the class. So we have two active skills instead of just one like in Legend of Mushroom. And it also comes with two passive skills. Together on top of that, there's going to be, of course, more active and passive skills which we will be able to choose from. And we will also be getting to that system in a moment. First of all, the active skill for this guy, this class is going to be a melee swing for a single target dealing a big bunch of damage, and then reducing the attack speed of the enemy and the damage by 1% for 15 seconds, stacking up to 20, with a chance of inflicting one stack of slow once it is all the way up to level 6, right? So interesting active with a little bit of debuffing to the enemy. Then we have over here the other active skill, which is slow, reducing the attack speed by 3 and the damage by 1% for 15 seconds, once again stacking up to 20. Isn't that the same effect over here? Yeah, it's kind of the same debuff that's going to be applied. Okay, so it does apply slows every time. It's going to be dealing a big bunch of physical damage to a single enemy once again. And level 4, when activated, dispel all slows from the target for each stack of slow dispelled, granting a big bunch of lifesteal and increasing damage. It reads pretty much just like a warrior ability. It has a lot of slowing and then getting back some HP through the lifesteal, and then the lifesteal ratio is going to be increased by to 7% and the damage increased by 20%. The two passive skills are the following, again also applying the slow debuff, and then ally units energy damage resistance increased by 50%. That's a specific kind of damage which we will eventually get to. Every 10 seconds, the next normal attack affects enemies in a fan-shaped area, dealing 6 times the normal attack physical damage and inflicting 2 stacks of slow for every 8 stacks of slow dispel in the battle. This skill damage increases by 10% and cooldown decreased by 1 second. It is quite complex. And then a level 3 inflicting 1 additional stack of slow and slow dispel requirement reduced to 5. Now, the thing about slows in this game is that you actually go ahead and move around the map. Let's real quick just go and zoom out. You can actually move around, and it is part of the combat system, right? It's not just a gimmick. You are going to be having to dodge abilities from the enemies. There is a little bit of an action combat system. So you will be very much in the need, or very much have a deep, or it's going to be detrimental to be able to dodge out out of some abilities, meaning that if you're slowed, that is going to be a lot harder to do so. Let's finish up checking out this first warrior class, or rather awakening class, let's just call it. Then this passive is going to be each point of energy grants allied units 0.5 energy damage resistance. And again, I think energy damage is referring to the colors of your whatever. Let's just go back and real quick zoom out, right? This thing over here where you can switch elements. You can either be fire or you can be the green one. And then if you're a mage, you can be either the blue one or the green one. And then if you're a warrior, you can be the red one or the blue one, right? There's like a mix of 3 different, or I would call it affixes, but it's more like elements, which are going to be determining the kind of damage you do, right? And that is what it is basically. If you have resistance to a certain type of element, you're going to be stronger versus other classes or subclasses, and somebody else is going to be stronger versus you, right? So this is going to be getting you that extra damage resistance, as well as then at level 2, when applying or dispelling slows, each stack is going to be granting some energy, right? So there's a lot of things to be learning through this game, guys. It is quite just like Legend of Mushroom, but not exactly like it, right? So the second version of the warrior we have over here is the Flame Demon, and if it's anything to go by, just like Legend of Mushroom, this would be a little bit more of a tanky version, and this then would be the War Master, or like more the offensive version. It's going to be using an Infernal Abyss Axe. It's going to be supposed to be in the front row. I believe more of an aggressive melee kind of guy. Boosts all ally stack speed and speeds up skill castings, right? So let's see. Check out first skill. Melee single target, dealing a big bunch of physical damage, and at level 1 is going to be having a chance to inflict 1 stack of burn. Now burn, what it does is damage resistance reduction by 4% and deals 5% damage every second for 10 seconds, stacking up to 10. So yep, quite a little bit of extra damage, as well as taking more damage by the enemy. Then deal a big bunch of AoE damage to enemies in a straight line in a fixed direction. So as we saw over here, you can dodge out of this thing so they don't actually have any effect on you. At level 2, inflict 2 stacks of burn in the same area, and level 6, inflict 1 additional stack of burn. So a lot of debuffing over there. Then the passive over here is going to be allied unit stack is going to be increased by 25%, and then the effects are going to be just nuts. I think I'm going to be kind of skipping reading through all of these things, otherwise it's going to be taking forever. And then the other passive is summoning a secondary Monmate requires 50% more energy, or the energy, okay, so that's like another kind of resource actually. And then when a secondary Monmate is summoned, all allied characters gain 500 rage. I'm thinking rage is actually the resource you use to cast skills in this game. It's going to be this bar under here, if I'm not mistaken, although that could be the energy. I'm not entirely too sure at this point in the game, guys. Just bear with me. But yes, there's a lot of resources to this. Let's keep on going with the next class over here. We go over to the archers, the one that I'm playing right now. So let's see what this actually do. The Punk Hunter here with a Gear War Bow, which looks quite interesting to me. Stacks burns, once again, another burn debuff. It's supposed to be played in the back row and raises max stack limit. And when it does say back row is that you have formations in this game. There is going to be scenarios where you're not able to actually control the movement of your characters, so the positioning is going to be also a key point, whether or not it's going to be attacked first or later, right? So kind of a little bit more of something much more useful of idle games like this one, unlike Legend of Mushroom. Anyways, this attack is going to be a ranged single target attack, dealing a big bunch of damage, having a chance to inflict 1 stack of burn. We already checked out what burn does. And then we're going to have another one over here, which is going to be dealing a big bunch of physical damage to an enemy in a large circular area, increasing the burn cap by 5 for 5 seconds. Then at level 4, additional burn cap increased by 5, and at level 6, after increasing the burn cap, doubles the stacks of burn on the affected units. So you just like apply a bunch of stacks, and then they're going to be triggering their effect. Then this passive is going to be doing the following: when allied units inflict burn, this unit adds 1 stack of burn. Okay, we got a lot more effects going on at the same time over there. And then each point of V energy grants all allied units big bunch, or rather 0.4 physical damage enhancement. And at level 2, when allied units inflict burn, they gain a bunch of energy, right? Still really need to be playing around with these things and like how this kind of energy is going to be working and all that stuff. The intricacies and the builds and the best classes and stuff like that, we'll get to those in a moment. We're just getting the feel for that in this video, guys. So we got the Wood Nymph over here. This is the other archer Ascension class. I'm calling it an Ascension, not too sure if that's going to be the way this game calls it. Mid row, actually, not back row. And then the Stormy Rhythm is going to be the bow over there, the weapon. Large AoE poison effect, which weakens enemies. Very interesting. So the first active skill is going to be just a basic attack, which is going to be inflicting 1 stack of poison, a little bit of a chance only. Then the poison is going to be dealing a big just 30% damage per second, lasting for 15 seconds and can be stacked up to 30. So it's going to be a ramping up damage per second kind of thing. Quite interesting. Usually poison builds in most games are the best. So then the second one over here fires a volley of arrows attacking 3 times, each bullet dealing a big bunch of physical damage to all enemies with a 35% chance to inflicting 1 stack of poison, which at max level is going to be a 100% chance. And then the passives are the following: allied units defense increased by 25% and a big bunch of other stuff going on. And then each point of B energy increases the poison damage by 2%. And B energy, again, not really quite too sure what it's going to be like, but that is the nymph over there. And then we have the mage subclasses or ascendancies, whatever. Aquatic angel with a Poseidon trident, which obviously is right there. Looks quite interesting. It's supposed to be played in the back row. Then it's a balanced stats boosts, applied team-wide shield. Stat boosts, meaning like a little bit more of a support. I don't know, let's see. Range, single target, dealing just a little bit of damage. Usually the first attack over here is just a single target attack with a chance of inflicting a slow. Okay, back to the slows. Then we have another AoE attack over here, applies 2 stack of slows and grants allies a shield equal to the damage dealt. Okay, and inflicting 1 additional stack of slow when fully leveled up to level 6. Then the passive over here is allied units attack and defense is increased by 15%. And finally we have the V energy shenanigans over here. Each point of V energy grants all allies 0.4 energy damage. Alright, and then at level 2, increased regeneration speed by 80%. So I'm assuming V energy is the one you actually use to use your ability, like your active attack over here, the one you see down here. But yeah, again, not too sure. And then we have the Plague Leech, the one that kind of looks the coolest to me, actually. I might switch to Mage, not gonna lie. The Plague Leech has the Soul Reaper weapon. It's supposed to be played in a mid-row, and it's gonna be summoning and something to fight alongside you increases the physical resistance, right? So you're gonna be there right in the middle of the fight. The first attack summons 1 skeleton that inherits some attributes. When the skeleton attacks, it's gonna be dealing some physical damage. So it's gonna be like an added pal or just another minion. Then level 6 skeleton attacks are gonna be having a chance to inflict poison. So you got the best of all worlds. Extra minions to tank things for you as well as poisoning. Let's go. Summon 2 exploding bugs that charge the nearest enemy, dealing a big bunch of damage in a small area. For each non-bug unit defeated in battle, summons 1 more bug. Okay, max 15. Alright. Bugs have a chance of inflicting a poison, and that's going to be increased by a little bit when leveled up. Then we have the next passive over here. Allied units are going to be having increased physical resistance. And then the V energy shenanigans are each point of V energy grants the team 0.5% physical resistance, and then gain 0.5 V energy per second. Interesting combination of classes, guys. These all look quite interesting. Grade 57, and look at this, man. Look at this once again. I am only in like grade Ranger 2, so the way to go is insane. We'll get to more specific things in the future. There is a lot to cover in this new game, guys, so if you're interested in Monmate Master, make sure to go ahead and drop a subscribe to the channel, like this video, and I still also play around with Aptoide, so if you're interested in going ahead and benefiting from my Aptoide code, it's going to be here down in the screen. It's going to be allowing you to get yourself an extra 5% bonus whenever doing any purchase in this game, in particular Monmate Master, with my code through Aptoide, right? So if you're starting in this game and want to be buying anything, I really suggest you do so through Aptoide. Getting those sweet bonuses are going to be allowing you to get yourself much more extra value for your money. As you buy things, you accumulate the bonuses, and eventually you're going to be able to just buy more things with them. For example, right here, if I was going to be buying this and it's out of sync totally. Anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe again, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye. See you.